along to Villa Park for the fourth round of the FA Cup as Aston Villa host Newcastle. Unai Emery on 99 wins for the club. Can he make it 100 this evening? We're going to find out. Welcome to Matchday Live with a bit of a throwback today to the 90s.
Well, welcome to the historical setting of Villa Park. Big crowd here as you can expect.
Saw the goalkeeper off his line. Oh, a glorious goal! He's lining it. Yeah! Oh, yes! It's McGrath. There's the collector's item for you.
Walk against Seaman. Monstrous!
Goal, guys! Oh, what a goal!
Post coming in behind him. He's Dudley! It's a goal! Dean Dudley has scored!
He's on the penalty box. Yeah! It's got it! Inside the clear second. Aston Villa snaps it. Unbelievable scene. What chaos, what joy. And Aston Villa have snapped it at the death.
And a chance now. Middle of the runners.
Oh, a terrific goal!
A sight for all Villa fans.
Yeah, some great memories there. Welcome along to Matchday Live. And as you can see, we've got a full house. Andy Townsend, Alan McNally and Lee Hendry alongside me. How are we all? Alan, not feeling the cold, clearly, just me?
No, I think it's a wonderful. It's a Valentine's Day. Took me about 3 hours to go through my cards this morning. I'm still got a sweat on. What are you talking about?
Thanks for making time for us. Really
Thank you
appreciate it. Look, we can't talk to you about this because you left in '89, but two 90s legends here. Here we go.
Technically, part of me was still here.
Right, I knew that was going to happen.
Because Graham Taylor didn't speak to me for 2 years, seriously. Because we finished runners-up that following year when I did leave to go to Germany, and I reminded him, I said, well, I won the league when I was in Germany. He went, if you'd have stayed here, we'd have won the league. And I promise you, he didn't speak to me.
Where
for
did you
2
go
years.
in Germany, just out of interest? No one knows.
It was a little.
It doesn't mention it. Let's just leave it. We don't need to know about that.
I worked in a Tangleman, which is like Safeway.
Look, today is Aston Villa's Heritage Match, a club initiative that every first home FA Cup match, the club are going to celebrate a period of the club's rich history. Today we're throwing it back to the 90s. Andy, great memories of the 90s.
Wonderful memories, Michelle, and you know, very fortunate and very privileged to be part of some good teams, some good times, some great laughs, great memories. Few disappointments, of course, like every era, but it was a great time to be here. Great characters, and yeah, it was lovely.
My first game was in, I think, 96 or 97. It was that season. I was screaming. I was sat up there screaming at you to clear the ball in a 0-0 against West Ham, a thriller. But that was a great season.
Nothing's changed then.
Well, yeah. But the League Cup. Talk us through your memories of that.
The League Cup was great. Again, the 94 was very different to 96 because we weren't playing particularly well going into the final against Man United, who were the best team out in the land. So there was a bit of trepidation with that one, but we got it right on the day, got over the line. 2 years later, very different feeling. As Lee was part of that, and he will know that team and that squad was having some good times, Lee, wasn't it?
Yes.
We were consistent. We were there or thereabouts in the league. We were semi-finalist FA Cup, winning the League Cup. So we were a good little unit at that time, and it was lovely to be part of it. Yeah.
I actually remember that game in particular that obviously we're seeing here on the screen against Man U. I actually went on the coach with.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
Big Ron took me on the coach.
Oh, really?
And I warmed up with the boys. It was absolutely. I mean, it was listen. That was a taste of what was to come, and obviously to win the trophy was something special when it turned up.
It was a really rich period for the club, and perhaps we got a bit used to it in that period, but that's when I first became a Villa fan in the 90s. And the players we had, you can see some on the screen there, of course, Brian Little managing. It was a really special time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're looking at the likes of Savo Milosevic, obviously the Toner there with the outside of the boot to Wrighty.
Alan Wright.
Yeah, Wrighty. I mean, you know, he was some player. But you look at the squad and Tails, obviously.
Nice hit.
Straight down the shin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great
It
finish.
was a great shinner, but you know, it's you look at some of the players and like Towner said, you know, some of the great times and really good feel-good factors, and some great goals. I mean, some of the goals that we scored, back then, and the quality we had in the team.
Dwight York, unbelievable striker pairings at time, weren't they?
They were amazing, and that day, as I say, so different to the United game. That day, we thoroughly deserved to beat Leeds. We pumped them. We really did play well that day, and it was lovely to walk up the steps.
Wow, look at that Barnet.
The old trophy up, yes, exactly. No, it was good fun. Great.
Yeah, and those are the moments in your career, I'd imagine now you've hung up your boots, that you look back and you remember walking up to the Royal Box and lifting a trophy. Not many players get to do that.
No, they don't. It's again, a great privilege, but I've always been I'd like to think, a team man and part of the squad, whether I went up first or last. And my memories are more of all of us together and the group we had at that particular time and in those years. So it was great, really good. And I hope, and I keep saying, because I know this lot are capable of doing it, this lot right now can have some of that if they really stick together and believe it.
And if you haven't been to the club shop already today, 30% off retro jerseys. When you were wearing those retro jerseys, bit big, weren't they? Tell us about the kit man at the time.
Big, actually. We had them on today, and I actually had the size that I always wanted, but Jim Paul always refused to give me the size. In fact, I think he put another X on my shirt, because it was, really and truly, I wasn't the biggest anyway, but you can imagine a double XL on me or an XL on me. I mean, it looked like I was a wet through little rat, to be quite honest.
And he's let himself go, Michelle, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, clearly needs that triple.
Honestly, he really has.
Still warming up with the lads.
Okay, you can get in touch with us today actually via WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is 07483 556 258. We want your favourite 90s memories, your 90s pictures. We want to see your retro shirts as well. Just been saying I've got mine up in the loft. I need to get out for the little one now, don't I? Or little ones. So we'll get that down. We'd love to see yours as well. Let's talk about tonight's game then, Alan. Newcastle, I don't think this was a draw either side would have wanted when it came out the hat, but it is what it is. What are you expecting tonight?
Well, the bottom line is we've got used to the FA Cup being a day of change in formations and sometimes certainly staff for sure. And I think obviously we know the injuries we've got with John and Bouba Kamara, and obviously Tielemans is a huge loss for us in the middle of the park. But I looked at some of theirs, and like Liveramento's not available, Joe Linton, Guimaraes, Schär, etc. So regardless of those absentees, I think it's one where I think you're right, Michelle. I think when they draw it out, both went, oh, really? But we're thinking, well, we're at Villa Park. It gives us an advantage, and we've just gone up there, remember, and done them 2-0.
Yeah, 25th of January, it's only a few
so it wasn't a long time ago, and you can't exactly say they're in a great place because they've got a few problems, but nevertheless, it's. When I arrived here today, people are saying to me, how much emphasis do you think they want, big man, in the FA Cup? And I'm like, well, I certainly, I want to win the FA Cup. I know the furthest I got with this football club was the quarter-finals. We played Liverpool out here live on a Sunday one day, get beat 2-0, and then we get beaten extra time by West Ham United down there. And it's the only thing in my football career. I'd love to have won the World Cup. I'd love to win the World Cup.
I'm sure everyone wants to win the World Cup. Wrong one.
Well, I played in that as well. I played in that as well, and I thought we'll win this. and we did. But the FA Cup was, I'm trying to think back in the day. Joe Jordan and Gordon McQueen and Jimmy Greenough and Liam Brady and Alan Sunderland for Arsenal and stuff. Those days when I was growing up, I was like, I'd love to go to a cup final, never mind get the opportunity to play in it. And and it's a tough one to win, it genuinely is. And people say, well, it won't be taken serious until the semi-final. When we went down to play, who did we beat? Spurs.
Spurs in the third round.
Full team the gaffer put out. I know there was a few less injured, but nevertheless, so I think he's taken this genuinely really serious and an opportunity probably just to keep that winning feeling. It's a better than ever you can have, Michelle, but it'll be interesting to see the starting 11 today. I
know Spurs are struggling, Andy, but you can never underestimate them, and that was just a solid win, wasn't it, in the third round when Dion Rodgers with the goals?
Yeah, it was, and again, I just think that we've now developed that really lovely habit as a team of not having to play at their sparkling best in order to win. There's been a number of performances, I think, like this, where we've got the job done and done it in a very efficient and professional sort of manner. And I thought this performance on the day absolutely typified that. Always had a bit too much for them, I think, all over the park. Some of the goals this goal was beautifully constructed and put together. I mean, that's a proper goal.
Wendy has pulled a few out of the bag like that this
great,
season,
yeah. again, I like him when he comes in. He links up really well with Morgan Rogers more often than not when they're playing together. And yeah, some of the football we played on that day. And again, it's nice playing nice stuff and finishing it off properly as well. And that's a great goal.
He could be a big player. I think he's one of the ones that will play today, Buendia, just for the reason of what we saw down at Spurs, and probably in circumstances during the game today, that he'll be part of keeping the ball for us, being a little orchestrator in the middle of the park, and if it has to go out wide, he can go and get it, bring it back and keep us possession. It'll be really important for us, Buendia, today, and regardless of who the manager plays. But I think he plays. That touch was magnificent.
Yeah,
a great finish by Morgan. I'm saying Morgan will play. Will he play? Don't know whether he will. They might give him the afternoon off. But I think Buendia plays, and I think he'll be very, very important if he does.
We should have team news in just a little while for you, and we'll bring that to you live here. That was a lovely finish from Morgan Rogers, wasn't it, Lee? And it's been tricky recently for Villa. It's been tricky at home, but then Wednesday was better, got the 1-0 win, but need those players firing again. I guess there's a bit of a debate, like the boys said there, about what Unai does tonight and how strong he does choose to go, because we are having a bit of an injury crisis.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is, Michelle. I think it's not just that. I think the three players that Alan's touched on they've been our most consistent players, I feel, this season, in Tielemans, Kamara, and John McGinn. So, when you take three top quality players out, it definitely disrupts the team, for sure, particularly in that area where I feel we've dominated a lot of football games. So obviously, to bring players in who can fulfil the void, if you like, that's always a tricky one. And I think that's where the manager will be looking now and thinking, well, we're at this sort of stage of the season where we're sitting in a great position to go and really have a good go at Europa League. We're sitting in third in the league. I think main priority is a top 5 finish for Champions League, because we know that this club is definitely had a taste of it and they want more of it. So I think, I don't think he's going to take it lightly by any stretch. I think we've got players in that team that can probably come in and do a job to a certain extent. But I do feel that Newcastle have one eye on the Champions League next week. They play Qarabag next week, don't they? So
yeah, they've got a playoff. So
listen, it's one of them games that we might end up fielding a bit of a stronger side, if you like, than what Newcastle may do. We probably haven't got the strength in depth at this moment in time in comparison to most squads. That the gaffer's got loads of options that he can bring in that can really play for light. But I'd like to see a few new faces coming in. Young Brazilian boy come in and play on the left hand side. I think Bailey will play, Tammy Abraham. So straight away we've got 3 really exciting players that can probably go and win a game for you today.
He did say, the gaffer did an interview, Andy, and he said we have players to replace what we've missed.
Yeah.
And I think that's a jab in the arm for the lads that are, maybe might not have been first time, into the team. But he says he's quite happy with what we've got in terms of, replacing the void maybe with maybe our recognised bigger players.
And we, unfortunately, injuries are just part and parcel of the business.
Do you think that's where we're catching up a bit with squad depth then? Because obviously we've got to compete with financial fair play and everything that goes with that, and that has been a complicated factor to mention.
It has. I actually think that when everyone's fit, Michelle, I think the squad is a decent squad. I think it's got the right balance of experienced boys, of quality and of some potential. We're just unlucky. It's often the way that you get a couple of guys in midfield carrying knocks, bang, 2 of them are out, then another one goes down in that particular area of the field. It's just a bit unlucky. We've got Douglas Luiz back. Is he okay? He can play. Can he play today or not?
Yeah,
no cup tie or anything like that?
No, I think they're all okay. I think Tammy
No, I don't think he played for Forest in the Cup, so I don't think he's come.
No.
So there you go. So we've got good experienced boys coming back into the fray with Tammy and Douglas Luiz, and we've just got to keep going. You've just got to try and get through these periods when you're maybe a little bit underpowered, and just hope that you cope.
I was only saying, I'm trying to think what we were talking about there in terms of what's the most important thing for us.
What is the priority? I guess we're going to put you on the spot. Where does this sit compared to
I'm going to flip it right away, because who are we playing today? So we're sitting in the dressing room, we take on, we know what we want. Well, I certainly know what I want. I want to win the game today. Yeah. But you have to take in consideration who we're playing today, what kind of situation are they in, and what's their priority as well. And I can't think that the FA Cup really is going to be a massive priority, considering they're sitting in 11th or 12th.
Well, Eddie has been under a bit of pressure, hasn't he? Before that win the other day, the fans...
And by the way, apart from 3 eggs and a sourdough loaf and a pint of milk on my thing,
biscuits as well.
By the way, their next 5 league games, Man City, Everton, Man United, Chelsea, Sunderland, is Newcastle's next 5 league games. So I'd be thinking, I think if we start really well, make sure everybody does their job properly, regardless who starts, we create more chances, we put them under pressure, I think they go. I think they fold.
Al, just very quickly, Michelle, on the back of the win against Brighton, which was obviously after the Everton and the Brentford the disappointments here. We had very few disappointments here lately. We had those two back-to-back. They got back up and running with another win. I think get that home form back where it was. And so I think today, if it were me, if I was in the gaffer's shoes today, I'd be looking around at what I've got and I want to go as strong as I can against these to get it done.
And you know how special an FA Cup run can be. Obviously, you made me cry, I'll be honest, in 2000, when we lost to Chelsea. I was a 10-year-old crying, but I'll forgive you.
He's broken a few hearts.
I thought you were older than me,
He's broke a few hearts.
Just cancel his match.
Have you still got that poster on your wall?
You signed it, you remember.
Yes.
Right, so 2000, that FA Cup run, get into the final. Obviously, it was a disappointing game. It was a horrible game against Chelsea. But everything up to that point, what was it like to experience that cup run and to be involved in an FA Cup final?
Yeah, well, I mean, it went down as probably one of the worst cup finals in history, I think. Then it was the last one at Wembley, obviously, 1-0. It was really poor on the day. But I was telling Macca in the lounge that the build-up to that, we played Bolton in the semi-final, if you remember.
Yeah,
and
that's a great story.
It was an unbelievable game. I mean, I'd done my ankle probably about 6 weeks before that, and I really wanted to get fit for the games that were coming up. And obviously, we had the semi-final on the horizon at Wembley, and everyone wants to play at Wembley. So, Jim Walker strapped me up. I declared myself fit, and we played Bolton, and we got battered in that game.
Was that the one who hit the crossbar for them last minute or something?
Holdsworth, is it?
Dean Holdsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, but they missed a number of chances. I think Mark Delaney got sent off. I think it was just an absolute nightmare, honestly. But how on earth we got through it? Extra time, and I was saying to Macca, I was on the bench, and the JG's looked at me. There's like 30 seconds to go. I'm getting ready for and he went, "Get your gear off." So I'm like, "Get it off." So I've got my gear off. He put me on. Whistle when I hadn't touched the football, and I'm like,
Pens.
you can imagine, goes to pens. He's put me on for a pen.
What number taker were you?
I was the second one.
Oh God.
Actually, I was third. Sorry, I was the third, and Gareth went first. And I remember walking up from there's a great photo of us all sort of on the halfway line, as you do. And I remember walking up thinking, I haven't touched the ball. We've worked on it all week of where we're going to put our penalties, as you do with the gaffer.
Yeah.
And it all went out the window. I went back to the old days of my old man saying, right,
Head
pick
down.
your spot, hit it as hard as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a packed out Wembley, and we've literally, how we've got through to the final was unbelievable. And I just smashed it in the far corner. Jaska line and got his fingertips to it, but it felt like an absolute. I mean, the pressure on me was unbelievable, because you just felt it was going to go against us, but I had to step up and take that penalty.
Did you take pens?
Yeah, I took a few. I took a few. Yeah. I took one against Inter Milan here, obviously in the penalty shootout we had that night. That was a good night.
Yeah, it was.
But look, like Lee says, by hook or by crook, Michelle, they got there. They got it done.
Yes, we did.
He knows, and like maybe the boys felt a bit fortunate on the day or whatever. The Bolton fans won't forget it probably. The rest of the country don't. They just see Villa getting to a final.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of mentality I think the players you've got to have.
Yeah, because you can never approach a game like we might say, well, this might not be Villa's priority, but you can never go into a competitive match going in half.
By the way, there's not. I don't care what anybody says. There's not one player in there doesn't want to win the game today.
No,
not one player. And by the way, not the pressure's on us because we're here, but we've got a big crowd of 30 odd, maybe even we're touching 39,000 here, are coming here to see us getting into the next round.
Yeah.
That's important. And as an Aston Villa player, you need to carry that on your shoulders and make sure we do the business.
And by the way, let's not forget last season. By the way, we got to the semi-final against.
Yes.
And to be honest, if you look back at the games and the build-up to the approach of getting to the semi-final, I think everyone was thinking, we'll just sort of tick a box, we'll keep going through, we'll keep trying to see if we can get through to and we ended up in the semi-final, which I think, as we say, I think Gaffer will make changes, but you win games and you get to the next round and all of a sudden you're going, well, do you know what, I think I'm going to have to play a stronger side here. We've got a chance of maybe going and winning a trophy, and I think that's what will happen here. I don't think he'll lay down by any stretch, particularly being at Villa Park. I think that everyone in that change room who's going to start today will give 110% and want to win the game.
And as for Newcastle, we said they've got that playoff coming up, Alan, for Euro.
Carabag's miles away, by
It is.
miles away.
Oh yeah.
So, but
it's a 20-hour flight.
They've got a busy schedule to manage as well.
Yeah.
Results haven't been going their way. What sort of team do you expect them to feel? We can see JJ starting to get returning.
I think he probably will actually. Which and I won't hide my disappointment that he's not here anymore. I thought he was a fab. I mean, he was here when he was 10, 11 years old, for goodness sake. But you're in a position where you unfortunately have to let him go. It's another opportunity for him in his voyage in his football career, and he finds himself against his most favourite club. We'll put it that way. Although he might not say that anymore. But yeah, I think Newcastle. I just wonder where in priority this is for Eddie Howe. He's coming here to try and win the game, of course he is, but at the same time, if they're back across the 62 and up the M1 and we've turned them over, I don't think he'd be too unhappy. And I already rattled out the next 5 games, as well as that game against Qarabag in the playoffs of the Champions League. They've got some huge games coming up, because Newcastle, with the greatest respect, even the way they are PSR or the way they can spend money, their fans don't want to be 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. They expect to be 6th, 7th, 8th and pushing for that much. And they've got a very, very big, huge March in April coming up.
I commentated on the game at Spurs, Newcastle's the Spurs-Newcastle game last week, and they started Gordon Elanga and Harvey Barnes, and that's a quick, lively front three. They started the game very well. They were far too good for Spurs. I mean, the score flattered, even though Newcastle won, the scoreline flattered Spurs. It could have been a lot more than it was. So we'll need to defend well today. We'll need to switch on as soon as you lose possession, get back behind that ball and recover quickly, because they do break quick. They're not the best defensively. They've got some big guys. And again, I think if our football's sharp and accurate, I think we can cause them a lot of problems.
Let's look at the team news then. We can bring that to you now. And Villa have made 7 changes from the match against Brighton. We're going to read this as you see it. Albizo coming in instead of Emmy. Maybe we expect that. Lindelof, Barkley, who Emery was talking about midweek. Digne captains the side. Pau Torres, Tammy Abraham will start up front. Douglas Luiz, as we said, not cup-tied. Amadou and Nana will be probably alongside him. Bogard, Rodgers is starting, interesting, and Leon Bailey. So let's have a look. You can see the bench there as well. Let's have a look at Newcastle, who have made 6 changes to their starting 11. Ramsdale, Trippier, Lewis Hall, Tonali, Harvey Barnes, who Andy was just mentioning there. And you can see Jacob Murphy, JJ does start. Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Murphy starts as well. But Jacob Ramsey, that's his first return then to Villa Park since leaving and starting for Newcastle. Lee, I mean, you're a Villa boy. And that's a strong Newcastle side, by the way, as well.
I think it's a strong Villa side as well, to be quite honest. I think looking at after what we've just said, I know that there's been a number of changes, but it just shows probably that the quality that can come into both sides there. I think Voltemada played him for Newcastle. He's got a point to prove, hasn't he? I think, you said, Andy, that up at Spurs he went for a more quick, sharp sort of front three. I think today, looking at the wide players he's got playing in Harvey Barnes and who's the other one?
I'd have to see it again.
Not Ramsey, Murphy.
Jacob Murphy. I literally just said it. Yeah, sorry.
Listen, they'll want to put the ball in the box, so I think it'll, they'll play probably a little bit of a different style, if you like. Not that Newcastle do change an awful lot, but I think that'll be something that we will have to be well aware of with Voltemada playing up there. But going back to JJ, listen, being at a football club where you don't want to leave and your hands are tied, he had a bit of a struggle when he first went to Newcastle, by the way, as well. I think he found it hard to find his feet.
And it's because of the injuries he's been playing.
And you know what? I watched the game against her, and I was so pleased for him, because he feels like he's getting a run in the team. He's scoring, and we know that he's a different kind of player from midfield. I love the fact that he used to take us up the pitch at times. He can run with the ball, he can run in behind defences, and that's what they bought him for. And to be fair, he'll be a massive threat today, because he'll want to prove a point no matter what. Coming back here to
an opportunity, isn't it?
It is.
It's an opportunity. Genuinely, I mean, I'm amazed that Morgan Rogers plays. And he's given Ross Barkley an opportunity today. He's been injured, been out all of a sudden in the middle of the park, Andy. Ross has got an opportunity, because we've got some big games coming up in Europe, etc., for Ross to try and get into the...
Yeah, but the only thing I will say, we don't play till next Saturday, do we?
No,
so
true.
We've got a full week. We haven't got a midweek game. So whether he looks at 50, 60 minutes and goes, Morgan, hopefully we can get the job done.
Give us an hour.
Exactly. But great to see Barkley in the team as well.
Yeah, Marco Bizzo ahead of Emmy. Is that just cup?
Yes, it is. And again, whenever he's played, he's always looked very, very good. I mean, some of the European ties he played in, he played really well, I saw. So again, he's been it's not easy. I can't even imagine, Michelle, what it's like being a number 2 goalie. You know, when you literally, most of the time you're waiting, particularly behind someone like Emmy, one of the best in the world. So it's very difficult, but full marks to him, because whenever he's played, he's been very solid, very dependable.
What else caught your eye in that starting 11? Bogard starting again?
No, well, I'm delighted that Lindelof's playing, if Voltemada's playing, because it's a battle between the both of them. And to be honest, Lindelof, I think he was brought on by the gaffer as a defensive midfield player, and we were like that. Hang on a minute. He's actually tried to touch the ball 100 times and didn't touch it once, by the way. Then he brought him as a fullback, and he played the next 3 games as centre-back, and he was absolutely brilliant. And the manager actually singled him out in a press conference and said that he had been absolutely first class. So him coming in at centre-back, brilliant. That's exactly where he wants to play, and it's probably where he's looking forward to play, right up against big Voltemada today. So, Moran, Bogard's done a good job. He's not right back. We spoke earlier on about not his vulnerability at right back, but Kashi's brilliant at it, and it's not really where Bogard wants to play. But the manager says, do you want to play right back? You're like that? Yeah, all right, I'll do that.
And you need one in your squad like that, that's prepared to go. You ask that kid to play anywhere, he'll go and play there, you know, and he'll do a very steady, reliable job. That's the kind of boy he is, and that's why he will always have, under Unai, a very healthy amount of appearances at the end of a season, because the manager knows he can chuck him in. It doesn't matter where it's not necessarily ideal for him.
And he'll be delighted because Alanga and Gordon are on it. Alanga and Gordon are both on the bench. He's like that. Yeah, beauty. So maybe he'll have an easy.
Still got to deal with Harvey Barnes.
Well, yeah, that's it. Okay, I forgot about Harvey. I take that back. But nevertheless, you know what I mean. He might he might have been looking at the thing, giving it Alanga, bench, Gordon. And that'll do me for starters. But having said that, he's going to play 90 minutes, and he might have to deal with it. So it's an opportunity for him.
I thought he did quite well against Matoma the other night, and I don't think it was a great performance by any stretch. I just felt that the result more so for us was probably key, just to get us back up and running, get us a goal. You know, I said two defeats, and we hadn't scored twice here, and then just to get a goal, a bit of a scrappy finish, but you know, it's something that might just give the lads a big lift, I feel.
Let's have a little look now, or a little listen to what both managers said in their pre-match press conferences yesterday.
After the transfer window finishing, and with some change we did, and with the players, they are injured, we are working with different possibilities. And Lamar Bogard, for example, is a very good possibility, and getting good performance with us progressively, because he was here when I arrived here 3 years and a half. He was here. He was in the academy. He was training with us. He was going on loan. Now, how he is performing and playing, and as a right fullback, he played marking Mitoma, and playing as a midfielder, playing out of matches. I am confident. And then the consistency of Amadou Onana, the performance of Ross Barkley after he was injured, and Douglas Luiz, how he is adapting, and I think progressively getting better. I think he played a good match on Wednesday. We have enough players to replace as a midfielder, to replace as well fullback Andres and Matty Cash with the player we have. And 2 months ago we were without Tyrone Mings and Pau Torres, and Lindelof played fantastic so much in a row, substuff then. This is our work. This is something making me more intense in my focus each match, with the possibility we can have and to get the performance as soon as possible. And the players, they are ready to play, and they are always opening their mind to try to help us in different positions, being versatile.
Get asked a lot about the cup competitions. I think I was asked the other night about our attitude to it, and our attitude won't change. We'll try and win the next game, and that's Aston Villa away. Really tough draw, maybe not the draw we wanted, but it's a competition we want to try and do well in. We enjoyed our run last year, disappointed to exit when we did, so the aim is to go as far as we can. the injury situation that we've had has been difficult for us because, as I said, we've had injuries focused on one area, and now our midfield seems to have been hit with Bruno and Louis and Joelinton, which is, you know, you look at the quality of those players missing potentially for us. That's really damaging for the team. But it has given players an opportunity to step up in their absence, and it was great to see Jacob Ramsey do so well, Joe Willock do so well, and that gives the squad then a different look and a different dynamic, and I'm really pleased for those individual players with how well they're playing.
Yeah, it's like we mentioned, isn't it, Lee? Both sides have got injury problems at the moment. How do you think they're comparing? Because they've actually both had massive issues in the midfield as well. Yeah,
well, I think that area in particular, I think that's seen them probably be a bit inconsistent this season. I think over the past couple of seasons where they've had Guimaraes, Tonali and Joelinton playing in there, I think for me that was one of the toughest midfielders to come across as a grouping, and they haven't been able to put them players out because of injuries, and I feel a bit like us really, you know, they found players in key areas injured and probably haven't been able to replace with a similar sort of player to bring in. So I do feel for Eddie. I think that, you know, there's a massive amount of pressure on him this season, but
he's set expectations there high.
It has. But that football club's like our football club. You know, they expect once you go and win a trophy, or once you end up competing and finishing in the top 5 where you're in Champions League, the expectation levels just rise completely where they should be, really, because that's where, you know, you put yourself at a benchmark. So I think continuing on, and particularly the reasons that we have very similar in the PSR situation, that they can't just go and bring top class players in. It's really hard for the likes of Unai and for the likes of Eddie Howe. So I think very similar when I look at both football clubs at the moment, but I think we've just got a more consistent level where we're winning games, where I think Newcastle have really struggled this season. They can't seem to put a string of results together.
Were you slightly surprised, I suppose, with what was said by some of the Newcastle fans about pressure being on Eddie Howe and reports of his job being
just
under pressure?
Think it goes with the territory, Michelle, a bit. Eddie's had, I think, a very solid period since he's been up on the
never really been
side.
questioned until now.
No, he hasn't, you're right. Because maybe there's been a bit of talk about England, and there's been one or two other bits. Maybe that goes away now, and that Tuchel's just. How did he get another deal, by the way? He done well there, Thomas. He ain't hardly had a game yet, has he? He's had another deal. But no, so but Eddie is, I think, has done a very, very thorough job, really good job. And Lee is spot on. We are similar. We're similar clubs, stature-wise, team-wise. I think Villa play the best football. I think they play a better football than Chelsea, a better football than United, and a better football than Newcastle when we're right and when we're at our best. Yeah. I think the way we play is better than those teams. It's just whether we can nurse those injured boys back, and we can keep everybody healthy and switched on. And our gaffer's great at that. You know, you can tell just even watching him in an interview there, he's on it. So yeah, look, it's not going to be an easy game. Eddie could do with a little run. They thoroughly deserved their win at Spurs. They were by far the better team, and they will be dangerous today. We've got to be careful.
Yeah, where do you think the main threats are going to come from? You're mentioning the wide areas and the sheer pace, but
wide areas, and even the way we've actually just spoken about it, we mentioned it about. I think the manager's brilliant when he mentions Lindelof, saying he was fantastic after playing in different positions. But he mentioned Lamar Bogard specifically there because he knows it's not a position he's particularly brilliant at. But he's absolutely delighted with him and his performances, and even mentioned how well he coped with Mitoma, and he'll be relishing the game today. When Eddie got the job at Newcastle, I was like, I don't know. But that's me thinking about the size of Newcastle Football Club. Because every time I've gone there, A, on TV, or B, as a player, you're like, we need to be at it today, or make sure, you know what I mean? Because they're always been like that. And also in this competition, I think they always want a cup run, Newcastle. I don't know what, maybe I'm wrong, but they always go, we want to get to the cup final. They've never won it, I don't think, or certainly not in the last 20 odd years. But certainly in terms of them always talking about a cup run, someone always seems to be talking about a cup run for Newcastle, and that's what they want. So when we got them in the cup, I was like, oh boy, that's all we need. But the fact that the game's here, then hopefully with a bit of luck, anything they throw at us today we'll be able to cope with.
do you think sometimes traditionally Villa and Newcastle get mentioned with cup runs because maybe in previous years up till now they've not been seen as Premier League title contenders? Do you think that's why?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, they have had decent cup runs, haven't they? So I think, yes, probably that is one of the key factors.
They got 2 finals in a row.
Yeah, they did.
That's what I mean. So
they did.
You know, they've had decent, good cup competitions and good runs, and listen, they're a massive football club. But like you said, have they ever got close to even competing for the Premier League? They haven't, and that's where you feel that clubs that just sit outside that category, if you like, of not competing. I think a cup run's always quite special to a football club. We're fortunate at the moment that we're sitting in the top 3. We're in Europe, and we've got this cup competition that's in our grasp.
Villa have got a 65% win rate this season. The last time having a higher win rate in a single season was 1896 to 97. I mean, that just
Alan
shows.
remembers that.
Yeah, I should have thought that was him.
I was just
Was he
about to
here?
say, he got Player of the Year that year.
But that shows, how long it's been since this consistent form has been.
Correct. No. Look, and which is why I think it's really important we try and get another victory today at home. Been so good at home. You almost take it for granted now. Villa at home, oh yeah, they'll win. Villa, whoever they're playing, they'll win. That's how good the boys have been here for what's seeming like now quite a long time. So you've got to get back on that horse again and get another victory today and build up a little bit more momentum.
When Andy's talking, I'm thinking, don't underestimate a victory for us here today, genuinely, to make sure we can get that and we can prepare the whole week. We'll get Leeds United the following week in the league here. We'll be a little closer known to who we might be playing in the Europa League, depending on also where that goes. But the momentum within a football club,
correct,
when you go into the training ground, who are we playing in the FA Cup? The expectancy is massive. It's massive, honestly. And that's why it's so important that we do genuinely. Whether the manager plays whomever today, we need. And I'm going to mention a couple. Ross Bartley, 100%. Solid stuff from Bogard. There's no Buendia, who I thought he might play. Morgan Rogers played, and I think you rightly said, right, Morgan, come on, let's go. You've got 1 hour, get us a goal, and by all means come and sit next to me for half an hour, and we can look forward to the week off. So it's a huge momentum for us here to make sure we get a result.
Listen, you can't underestimate this cup. It's a massive competition, and that's the thing with it. With today and evenings like this, they're special. They're different. It takes the pressure off. I think I came here midweek and the atmosphere is completely different to what it was midweek, because absolutely. I felt that everyone was a little bit cagey. I think this is a game where we might see a few goals today, because I think both sides will probably play with a bit of freedom and a bit of, take the shackles off and go and enjoy the game. I'm sure the manager will have said that, but obviously the main point is to win the game. So I'm with Alan. I feel that This is a game that you can't really underestimate for both sides, and I think you can't say, Eddie's coming here and he's just going to turn up and sort of put a team out. And
Andy made a great point about the way Newcastle have been playing. They haven't had that, or was it you, buddy? Sorry, about they haven't won 3, 4, 5 games in a row, so they haven't managed to take any poor performance, but still with the momentum managed to squeak a game. Yeah. And it's massive.
And away from home they've struggled. I mean, they got the victory at Spurs. Yeah. Prior to that, they had a really bad run away from home. So they'll be looking from their point of view to keep it going. They know it's not going to be easy for them today here. This is as hard a ground to come to and win as pretty much anywhere in the country right now. So Newcastle know they're going to have to be at their very best if they want to come away with anything here.
Absolutely. Okay, in just a second we'll look back on what happened midweek against Brighton after this short break.
I'd always just pop in his office and say, Gaffer, how you doing? All right? Everything all right? We'd have a cup of tea, and if it was 4:30 in the afternoon, we'd have a scotch. Yeah. I met David Ginola, Oh, John, he's amazing. He's amazing.
So I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, chins up, Ken, don't worry about it. 1990 was incredible. And it was only after the game that we realised that Jack had just told Pavarotti where to go, right?
All of the things that I did as a kid We used to train on the car park on a Friday, tarmac. Everything was cast in stone. And I see the game today, it's incredible.
Anyway, I sort of went with it. He said, yeah, contracts, here it comes through. And I was thinking, well, it
looks real.
Yeah, it looks good. Hold on a minute, mate, hold on. I said, I've signed the contract. He went, yeah, but we've changed it.
Probably my favourite goal is probably one I scored here against Luton. Great goal, was celebrated. No. Thank God he went in, can't think because of that reason.
I always used to say, we're Aston Villa and we ain't scared of nobody.
No.
There are so many words, man. If I had to choose one, I'd say magic. Yeah, magic for sure.
The whole end, there's nothing like it. I think for a lot of people, football is a religion and the whole end is the church.
This is Villa, the fans expect us to win, and the whole end's the driving force behind that.
It represents the centre of the club.
The whole stadium depends on what happens in the Hope.
It's the noise and vocal support of the club.
It's like a heart pumping blood to its body.
When you score at Villa Park, it's always special, but scoring there's even more special as a Villa player.
Everything in your life you forget about. You feel every kick, you feel every shot, you feel every tackle.
We always end up kicking off, with the whole end behind us. As a centre-back, I can hear the support, hear the crowd, and really gets us going.
You finish the game, you're tired, you've been part of it, you're the 12th man, it's family, everyone here is family.
Plenty of you have been sending in your 90s memories then. If you WhatsApp us, our number is 07483 556 258, and on the side of the screen now you can see some of them. I was saying my first game, Andy Townsend captain. I think Gareth Southgate was centre back with you. It was definitely a 0-0 against West Ham. 96 or 97. Alan Wright, right back. You were playing midfield. Left back, sorry. You were playing midfield. Who was full back?
Would have been Charlo.
Yeah, Gary Charles would have been right back.
Yeah. And then the rest, my memory's not that good because I was very small. You were playing. I'm pretty sure you were playing.
Was I?
Yeah, you're just breaking into the first team, I think, around then, weren't you?
He was a mascot. I was the mascot.
I was ball boy.
He was holding Andy's hand as he came out. But yeah, your memories, 07483 556 258. Mentioned the Brighton game you were here on Wednesday. I'm not surprised the atmosphere was a bit tricky because at home we just had a tiny bad patch, really.
Yeah, well, that's what it felt like, didn't it? Because as Andy alluded to, we've been absolutely magnificent here. We've turned Villa Park back into a fortress, and that's where I think it sort of damaged the confidence throughout the squad, throughout the crowd even, who have been fantastic this season and beyond. So, yeah, I think that's why it was so important, Michelle, to get a result in that sort of vein. I felt that at times we had one pass too many. I looked at the shots on target. I think it was one shot on target, which was not good enough here, because usually, we dominate games. We create, we get opportunities, and we didn't quite do that. And I do feel that was down to probably that little dent in confidence in the lads, that it was almost like we're trying to walk it in. I think it'll be a little bit different today. This is why I feel it'll be a big game for us to really kick on from now till the end of the season, because it's a game that I feel that the shackles might just come off a little bit. Just feels completely different to what it did feel midweek, but it weren't the greatest performance by any stretch. But as I said, win was so big for us.
It's one of those, Alan, though, where the result was more important than the performance.
Michelle, honestly, it's the only time this season I've come to the ground thinking, I don't care how we play. I don't care. Off the last two games at home, we get beat by Everton, we get beat by Brentford. We got a good result against Bournemouth, even though we took the league, and I think I saw Morgan Rogers saying that he was a bit disappointed we never won the game. But it's not normally I'm coming, because I'm coming to see the boys pass it and play and create chances and get everybody on the edge of their seat. But I wasn't even thinking about that. And even when we were talking about the game, I was like, the win. We just need to win. And I thought after about 60 odd minutes, I was thinking, they're on the bus. They're taking a 0-0 here. They don't care. Not that they don't care, but I was like, they'll take a point right now. And it was a brilliant hit. Well, a lot of pressure from Tyrone on. Can't remember who scored. Was it
Hindleshaw was the own goal. Tyrone's claiming it, by the way.
And it was a brilliant result for us, genuinely, and a proper deep breath. Thank goodness. And then obviously we look forward to today. But certainly in terms of getting that win, it was absolutely massive. And it's not normally I come to here thinking I don't care what we play like. Of course I care what we play like, but the result for us the other day, remember, and we have to think about this now, off the back of United and Chelsea and another who's all in and around us, that was important that we won the game because we needed to get 3 points.
And you've played here obviously loads of times where, you know, form's dipped and you know, we've had and you know what it feels like, Andy. I mean, you've done the same, Macca. But
yeah, absolutely.
It is. I mean, it's difficult as a player to come back out onto the turf and think we've got to really step it up here, you know. And sometimes you try that extra yard harder, which
it is.
And you almost overcompensate, I suppose.
Well, it is difficult, and I think that's where, in Douglas Luiz and Tammy coming back, I think that's really important to have boys that have experienced big clubs. Tammy's gone away and played for some big clubs.
And he's a fan favourite. What he did in that season.
Exactly. You know. So, but because our fans are a demanding bunch. They are. And that's good because we know that when they're with you, when things are going well, they take the roof off and they carry you over the line. But you've got to be brave and you've got to be courageous when it's not quite happening and you're having to dig results out. And I think they've shown that they can do that. I think our lads have shown that they're absolutely ready for that sort of challenge if that's what they're confronted with.
I love the words he just used. Be brave, take responsibility, and you have to have wide shoulders. If you want to play for Aston Villa Football Club, and our global print we put into Europe and in the world now, we need to be bringing players in that can handle pressure and expect sometimes to be under a bit of pressure and somehow within you have the character to cope with that and make a difference in the game. If you're sitting in the dressing room and you're thinking, I'll just go through the game, that's no good. You have to be thinking, how can I influence the game and how can I make sure we win the game? How can I do something that Andy scores, puts Lee through, gets a shot on target? You have to be thinking positively all the time. That's what Aston Villa football players should be thinking about.
I thought Ross Barkley, when he came on the other night, I thought he had that sort of bit between his teeth because he's struggled with injuries this season. He's been in and out, but I sort of took close eye on him, watching him, and I thought, you know what, he's come on and he's really wanted to grab that midfielder. He sees an opportunity with the players that we've alluded to are not available. He sees his opportunity now to get himself into the starting 11, and I don't mean just today, I'm on about league form. So, I mean, he stood out when he came on for me. I thought he had that little bit between his teeth.
Let's hear from Unai Emery now on Alisson, who also came on as a sub in that game on Wednesday.
He's a winger, left foot. Winger playing normally in the right side and can play in the left side, but normally he's playing in the right side. He has qualities or skills like more or less Leon Bailey, left foot playing in the right side, and he has a huge potential. And of course, his adaptation is being progressively better, but he needed time, and he is still needing time to adapt to us and to get his best performances. But each match or each training session is very important for him.
Yeah, Alisson, only 19, a real raw talent, plays on the wing, and the Brazilian. As soon as you say Brazilian winger, we get excited, don't we?
Well, of course you do. And listen, I think we're all anticipating good things from him. Unai will blood him and play him at the right time where he can come in and hopefully relax and flourish and play well and excite everybody. We've got to be realistic. Very tough for a young man like that. Completely different culture to want to get involved. But these guys, no problem for the likes of Tammy. There he is there, and I just hope that he's given enough minutes over a period of time to start slowly bedding in and getting to grips with it all.
They bought him for a reason. He looks like a real raw young talent, doesn't he?
I mean, it's like every football club now, certainly in England, that net has to be casted pretty wide. And obviously Brazil's a market that our guys know about, never mind Spain, etc., and the rest of Europe. Listen, he's got a girl's name, so he better be good. Called Alisson, so he better be good. But the thing is, I think Andy's right. I think the manager to drab opportunities for him. To the pace of the game here.
It's so different
the
here.
Physicality, everything. But you get it. He's only 19, and we might not see the best of him until he gets to maybe 20 years old, because of the opportunities that will be afforded to him because of the players we have at the football club. Listen, fingers crossed. What did we? Was it 12 million, 15 million, something like that, wasn't it? Wasn't an awful lot of money. I know. Sorry, don't check. Don't check. It was something like that. But listen, he could be an absolute superstar for us, and with a bit of luck, when he starts to get used to being in England, living here, of course, different circumstances completely for him. Let's hope he's a fantastic Aston Villa.
I kept looking at him and I thought it was Morgan Rogers.
His gait is very similar.
Yeah. Just thinking, he's come from Brazil and he's come here. It ain't stopped raining here, is it, for 6 months? Right, of all the times the boy arrives, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we'd have had one of those freaky years where we get a little bit of sunshine just to greet him?
Well, if you can do it now, then,
yeah. It's literally, I'll tell you what, we're under 6 foot of water here. I bet the poor boy don't know what
he signed his contract and they handed him an umbrella. And he was like, what's that for? Brilliant.
8.7 million with 1.7 million of add-ons. There you are.
Yeah,
George find it. So it could be a really smart purchase.
I think
time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the lad that Bournemouth have bought in, Rayan from Brazil, and I think they did pay about 20 million for him, if I recall correctly, and he looks like he's come in and hit the ground running for them. He's the boy that scored against us up at Bournemouth last week. So, yeah, listen, I think Alan's right. I think the way that football's going, the search, they widen the search. The recruitment has been very good since the manager's come in. I think they sort of hand-pick players that maybe they can bed in, strengthen up. The likes of Morgan we bought in, that we felt that could he make that step up to the Premier League? Couldn't he just? He's worth an absolute fortune now, and so instrumental in this Villa side. So I believe everything what the manager does and the recruitment team is certainly something that always stands out for me at the club. So maybe we have got a little gold mine there with this new youngster.
It's not as if we've got like players at 34, 35 and 36. There's a lot of young players at Aston Villa that will be able to help him, and they'll all be going on the journey at the same time, Andy.
They will.
Which is a big thing. You and I know in the dressing room sometimes you've got the kids, not the kids, but we were kids at one point, and we wouldn't know. We knew where we could go and where we couldn't do. But you've got the likes of Alisson, etc., and all the young boy George Hemmings,
correct.
And I can't remember who he scored the goal the other night there. Against Salzburg.
Yeah, he's gone on loan now, hasn't he?
Jamal Loba.
Yeah.
Correct.
And guys like that, and they're all coming in the journey at the same time together, so that'll help them.
Yeah, and they sort of have a bit of healthy competition when the younger boys are together, because they'll spur each other on. When one or two of them get a chance, in you go, and their mates will be urging them on to do well, but also keen to want to get involved themselves. So, look, it's an exciting chapter for him. Let's hope he does well.
99 wins is what Unai Emery is on right now. Where do you think he is ranking in terms of Aston Villa managers?
Oh, he's up there. Oh, he's up there. He's up there. Look, I think it would be a shame if when Unai's days are done here, well, let's hope that's a long time yet, but it would be a shame if he hasn't won anything. I think the team, I keep saying it, Michelle, they're ready to win, they're ready to get over the line, they're good enough to win. And I think once they do that, I think Unai will absolutely be up there as one of the very best managers the club has had.
I think that's, one thing you do look at managers, don't you? What have they actually achieved? And for all the good quality games and the football that we've seen since he's come into the football club, I think this is where now you have to start producing the silverware, because that's where you go to the levels. And he's a world-class manager, there's no doubt of that. And for me, at times, I think we've overachieved with the squad this season in particular. I do feel that there hasn't been a number of changes, but I do put that down to the manager's input, his back staff, his recruitment, and now it is about, as Andy says, putting that final finishing touch on, and it's bringing some silverware to Villa Park.
Striker-wise for Tammy Abraham, I know most fans, or if not all fans, were delighted to have him back. He'll be desperate to get off the mark. Had that one disallowed, which just, for me, it wasn't disallowed, but we know what he brings to this side. Does he bring anything different compared to Ollie Watkins in the way they play? Is he playing more centrally, more of a target man?
Well, they want the ball in the box a little bit more than maybe we did, or than maybe we have done, rather. because that's where he wants. He wants to be facing the goal. He wants the balls. He wants those balls whipped in so he can get across defenders, get a touch on, etc., etc., and be a centre and be a striker, be a forward for us. I mean, the player that was here when he scored all the goals in the Championship, I'm hoping he's a hugely different player now. He's had experience in Europe, much more clever, much more worldly wise almost, to deal with circumstances during the game. And all of a sudden he's like, okay, I need to do this now because this is happening. And I want him to have that experience, that we're not like saying, we have to remind you about it. When you're out there, you need to be more of a captain and say, okay, this is happening, give it to my feet, and it's maybe more of a build-up. But certainly in terms of us getting the ball into the box, I think he'll want the ball delivered in the box as often as he possibly can, so it gives him more chances to score goals.
Is that going to be his game then, between the two posts or in that 6-yard box?
That's where he'll be judged, Michelle. That's what we hope as Villa fans that he's going to produce, to score some goals. I mean, look, Ollie's got genuine competition with Tammy, genuine competition. There have been others that have been playing up front. Doniel, when he was here, but he could play wide. Tammy's not going to go playing wide. Tammy's a front runner, and Ollie and he will now battle that out for these. And this is the most exciting part of any season. From now on in, you've got, in a World Cup year, you've got absolutely everything to go for and to play well for. And Tammy will want to. He hasn't come here just to sit there and play 5 minutes here and there. He wants to play regular, and he'll want to play every week if he can. So when he gets a chance, he's got to try and take it, and he's got to look like he's going to be amongst those goals.
Would you ever play Tammy and Ollie together?
I certainly would do, yeah, but I don't think Unai Emery's going to ever do that. I don't think he's ever even thought or that's crossed his mind. I think he's got his own style and philosophy of setting up a team in a certain way, and I haven't really seen it since he's been here, where he's played 2 out-and-out centre forwards, and that's what they are, 2 out-and-out centre forwards. So I don't think that's going to be the case, whether it's where you're chasing a game in a competition, Europe maybe late on, where he might need a goal, but even then, I think we've seen it here at PSG.
Did Marlon and Watkins like once or twice? I feel like he did at some point. I can't remember.
I think when we was chasing the game PSG here in the Champions League, Rashford went off and it was like for like. So I think because he works so hard on the training field of how they set up and their style and the way they work things, I'm not sure you'll ever see that with Unai, unless it is really last ditch where they need to get something.
A couple more minutes then. Let's push you for predictions then, Andy.
3-1 today.
In normal time?
Well, I'm thinking, normally predictions-wise, I'm usually wrong pretty much every week. So I'm hoping today, if I am wrong, I'm hoping today it's 2-1 Villa. But I'm going 3-1.
In normal time? Because of course we're
normal
extra time,
correct. Because I've got to get home, Michelle. Traffic's murder on that MC. So it's normal time. It's got to be normal time.
Is there VAR today?
Is there VAR today? Yeah. I promised that on my little word check.
Not sure there is.
I'm going to ask our producer, is there VAR today? Because we were listening to Burton v West Ham on the way up, and of course there was no VAR. My little lad said to me, is there no VAR today? So I'm going to double check that, but you give me a prediction. I'm going to double check that.
I'm just thinking it might be a lot easier because the game will only be 93 minutes.
That's true.
Listen, we'll win 2-0 today. I'm going to go that we're going to be tight at the back, we're going to smell danger, we're going to snuff it out, and we're going to create more chances than they are. We'll be 1-0 at half time, we'll be 2-0 at full time, and we'll be in the next round.
There we are. Not utilising the 3rd and 4th round.
Yes.
I was confused because they came in last year in the 5th round, and I think they're doing the same this year. Because obviously Premier League grounds, things like that, it's different. But yeah, definitely no VR when I was listening on the way up today.
Well, in that case, and I'm going 3-2, then I feel there'll be goals. And you know what? Tammy's going to score today. That's another little one for you. So 3-2 Villa, and Tammy Abraham will score.
And if it's not going Villa's way, would you expect to see have to utilise players that maybe he did want to rest, Andy?
Yeah, you might well have to. I mean, you might see, as Lee said, you might see Tammy and Ollie playing together for 20 minutes. Who knows? But look, it's right now, the here and now. We'll worry about the last 20 minutes when we get there. At the start of this game, get on the front foot, ask the first early questions, and if you can get in front, then you apply loads of pressure at Newcastle.
You can't resist.
I'm desperate
there
to play.
There is a lovely orange official FA Cup.
We've had our shirts on today. All we need is Tanner had his studs checked. Has he got
I was hoping he didn't notice that. I was going to put it through his legs.
There's a lot of Newcastle fans here today. They get a little bit more of an allocation when it's FA Cup.
Today,
I think there's about 9,000. Will that make any difference, do you think, for Villa? Because we're not used to having Newcastle fans up there, are we?
No,
they get more of an allocation.
Got that side as well,
yeah, so they've got their usual allocation to our right, which they always get, and an extra bit of the north stand.
But, there's normally one or two as well without a shirt on, isn't there? And I'm looking for.
I dare you.
Tropical.
I dare you.
Make any difference to Villa today?
No, I just think this will make it an even better atmosphere. You know how well Newcastle fans travel. They love it, don't they? They are the epitome of football. They love coming to games and seeing good games. So, I just think it tees it up nicely for us. We'll be singing as we normally do and cheering the boys on. So it just makes it an even better factor for the lads.
What will Unai's final message be for the players before they go out? Given that there are 7 changes as well.
Yeah, I know, but he'll be reminding everybody about the jobs that they've been speaking about. Everybody will know who they're picking up, who they're marking, and just tell them enjoy it. Go and give me a problem for the next time I pick 11 players. Go and make sure we do the right thing, create plenty of chances, and be positive. Take pride in your game and your responsibility. Look after that, and we'll be absolutely fine. We'll turn them over today.
Yeah, Phil, we'll turn them over, Andy.
Yeah, I do. I believe they will. I just think, again, on the back of that winning midweek, I think it will be lovely to see a great performance, Michelle. I just want to see the boys win. Just get back in the habit of winning at Villa Park, and that's going to apply tons of pressure to Newcastle and any other team that come here. When our boys are right, they're more than a match for most, and I hope that's the way it is today.
Okay, right, thank you so much for your company today. Stay tuned, we have audio commentary coming up from Mark Regan and Brian Little. We'll see you later.
Good evening. Welcome to Villa TV. Welcome to Villa Park as well for our coverage of the FA Cup.